Ladies and gentlemen, your hosts, Lorelei and Space Deviant.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind was about drug addiction?
Are you serious?
The look was unprecedented.
The lighting and coloring astounding.
But how much of this should be attributed to the cinematographer?
How to create the mood with lighting, composition, camera moves.
And his revolutionary new wave style that hit Hollywood like a hurricane. Maybe it was the genuine film.
Most of the movie was shot using 35mm Eastman stock.
But the stellar special effects were done on 70mm by Spielberg himself.
I can't tell you how many times on a major effect with, let's say, the mothership or any of the small objects, we went back for 10 or 15 different takes because none of them were right.
The models, the miniatures.
Little runway lights going off in the distance. And those were all forced perspective. It made it so the miniatures could be a lot smaller and not take up a whole stage.
Those terrifying creatures that emerge from the craft.
They all hold up.
But the story...
I mean, this is shit. This is shit.
That's true.
On its face, as a story about extraterrestrials...
Close Encounters of the Third Kind
is hella mid.
I will not apologize for who I am. I will not apologize for what I need. I will not apologize for what I want.
And the behavior of the characters makes no sense.
It's okay, though. I'm still Dad.
But if you view Close Encounters of the Third Kind as a metaphor for drug addiction...
Without heroin, I attempted to lead a useful and fulfilling life as a good citizen.
Everything falls into place.
All right, hey, I don't need this. I don't need this working-class hero crap.
The strange, wild-eyed moments of ecstasy.
You got the same burn. Oh, yeah, but it's better on you. You got it all over. At least I got to tan the other side tonight.
His lost job.
About this. Hello? I can't believe it. Roy, you got fired. They didn't even want to talk to you. I mean, I don't understand this, Roy. Roy. What is happening here?
Shoveling dirt and dumping trash onto the proverbial kitchen floor of his life in order to worship some strange new obsession, the main character neglecting his wife
and alienating his children.
Next rung on his bender is hooking up with a woman who shares this same special interest with him. Someone who has already lost her child to a mysterious outside force. So he cheats on his wife with her, and they both let this inner yearning drive them onward through deadly, dangerous air. Maybe a metaphor for a contaminated product?
Struggling through getting detained by government agencies.
Where's Jillian?
All in pursuit of climbing ever higher up Devil's Tower. In the end, the woman resists the urge to climb onto that great starship.
And gets her child back.
But the leading man, in what might symbolize riding that white horse into the great beyond...
This was to be my final hit. But let's be clear about this. There's final hits and final hits. What kind was this to be?
Well, in the end, our protagonist lets his little demons carry him away. I know it's a weird take, And I know you don't agree with me, which is fine. My interpretation is more of a reaction to how disappointed I was to the actual story of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Maybe it's because I didn't watch it when I was a kid. I somehow missed that one. Out of all, I think I watched E.T. 36 times, but never watched Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
I think the actors may have been on drugs.
Drugs?
Yeah.
They look like they could have been, but I don't think that was the intention.
Oh, no. It's not his intention. That's not his intention at all. But when I look at the story that he told, he even said later in interviews that the idea of the man leaving his family to go F off with the UFOs.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
He would never do that after he was a father.
It was ridiculous. They should have had him go back. I didn't even touch it.
They're here.
I just waved my head at it.
That's very weird.
The determination as to whether your home is haunted is not very easy.
You see that?
The power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you.
All right, ghosts.
First time?
All right, anyhow. It's very strange. It's been shaking in the air. Anyhow.
This house is clean.
But the idea of a father leaving his children to go...
So we're talking about aliens, so they're going to fuck with us. That's how this works.
Whatever. Is ridiculous. But the idea of a man getting caught up in drug addiction and then ended up dying and being separated from his family. That happens every day. That's a tragedy. You line it up with the car accident, the truck incident, his encounter. That is an accident where he gets injured and gets on oxycodone.
And a lot of this problem was, it goes back to his wife and the way she reacted.
Dad, can I ask you a question?
What?
Are they for real?
That's what for. No, they are not for real. I want you to go outside and have a hot dog, okay?
Ronnie, don't tell him that.
Roy, look, don't talk about this until you know what you're talking about, okay?
Ronnie, that's crazy. If I can't talk about it, then how am I going to know what's going on?
And, it was a poor reaction, which caused his poor reaction, too. If she would have let him talk about it, he would have been more even keel, but instead, both of their actions are wrong.
No,
okay, but her not allowing him...
Women don't want to see your vulnerability.
Of course not.
This is why you have male friends. This is why you have brothers. This is why you have boys.
Men are human.
But your wife is not your dumping ground. You're the
Men are
strong
human.
one.
That's the thing.
Yes, but that's why you have other men. That's why you have the Elks Club.
That rug really tied the room together, did it not?
Fucking A. This guy peed on it.
Donnie, please.
You have your boys league. I'm all for men need men time. Men need male-only spaces. Like, you will never... I'm totally for men's clubs.
I think explaining to the person you're with an experience that shouldn't be like, oh my God, you can't talk about that. It didn't happen.
Again, in my interpretation, it is he's obsessed with heroin, and she sees him descending.
That's not what the movie was. The movie was he had this experience where lights came from the guy, shook his car, everything shuts off. He had
if you're doing
this
a
whole
straight
extraterrestrial experience, which is what happened.
interpretation of
This is what happened in the movie. Okay, we're not talking theoretical. We're talking
what
about
makes
what
it a
happened
better
in the
movie because the way it stands. You throw dirt in my kitchen, I will shoot you dead.
I killed the hell out of him, didn't I? 3 shots and he was taking a shit.
The minute that first haul of dirt came in.
Oh, Roy!
Come on, man!
Dad, after this, can we throw dirt in my window?
I'd had to call the cops because it's like, well, I shot him.
I shot him until he was dead.
It's the southern,
Are you out of your cotton-picking mind? Throwing dirt And then trash. See, the thing is, he would have gotten to the trash because he'd already been shot.
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying that wasn't
once
messed
the
up,
trash,
man.
I think I got up and got out of the room. Like, I left the room. He took trash.
Yeah, no, I think that whole scene, that whole bit should have been different. He should have redid that. But, there were a lot of good parts in the movie.
I just want to know that it's really happening.
Everything, as far as visually,
cinematography was incredible.
Great.
There's so many perfect triangles, these you could mute the movie. And actually, it's probably better if you muted the movie because I was not impressed with the storyline, frankly.
Right.
But if you just and I hated that noise, that horrible music noise. And apparently, the cinematographer used to do this thing called fogging.
I don't consider myself an avant-garde cameraman. I consider myself a good cameraman.
His lenses, I just looked at it a little bit. But it's how he got that gorgeous, muted tone. That was incredible.
I think the story like he was trying to tell was actually, I think he's very interested in extraterrestrial. I think he, as they say, wants to believe, wants to have that experience.
He's like, yeah, I'm never going to beat Steven in that category. And I go, what do you mean? Why? And he goes, after Jaws, he was like really big deal. And he apparently got approached by some guys from Naval Intelligence or something. And they came and offered him a deal. And
did he actually say Naval Intelligence?
Yes, he did.
Oh, he did. All right. Wow.
And
okay.
And he took it. And he got all sorts of information. I mean, Close Encounters is based on a true story.
He got approached by Heinrich, who used to be the disinformation guy for the government.
I began my work as scientific consultant to the United States Air Force as an open skeptic.
Heinrich was a university astronomer with a high security clearance when the Air Force recruited him to investigate UFOs.
Then he had two experiences of himself, and he couldn't just be like, he couldn't keep towing that government line of BS any longer.
The two scientists became close colleagues, with Heinrich entrusting Valet to index the reams of Blue Book files scattered throughout Heinrich's home.
That's what they say.
No, he was the technical advisor for this movie. I mean, and even a lot of the showing of the, how the government would react was, he knows.
Or could it be manipulated purposely by people who have the technology to simulate UFO sightings? And
he's actually been a part of the program of how a lot of that stuff was covered up.
Who would do a thing like that?
And if it was really something the government didn't want to get out, they'd have just...
I started the Institute for one reason. The Institute. I started it as a public-facing persona to disclose anti-gravity technology through, because I told Mark this. If you stick your neck out in public, at least someone notices if your head gets chopped off.
Eskridge also revealed that she had been receiving threats and that she had plans to disclose information about UFOs and extraterrestrials to the public.
No, they just have you hold a balloon thing and say that that's what you found, and that's what they do.
The only thing he's saying is the stuff the government wants him to say.
Wouldn't put it past this government that a cosmic Watergate has been underway for the last, 25 years.
No, not at all. See, I think that's what he did for the longest time. But at a point, he saw so many things that didn't add up to that. And then he had two of his own experiences that he's like, no, those were objects.
The government has been drip feeding the release of the idea of extraterrestrials since Roswell.
Is it human or inhuman? Earthly or unearthly? Baffling questions, astounding questions that not even the world's greatest scientific minds can answer.
Gentlemen, do you realize what we've found? A being from another world, as different from us as one pole from the other.
No, not really. They've been drip feeding that extraterrestrials are a threat since then.
This could be the beginning of the end for the human race. For what men first thought were meteors or the often ridiculed flying saucers are in reality the flaming vanguard of the invasion from Mars.
That was, I think, what this film did right, is they at least tried to somewhat make it where it's not like they're a threat, even though they did take the kid.
They stole a baby!
They stole the baby!
I stole the baby! I stole the baby!
To draw her out, which, yes, that's fucked up. That's not what they're aiming for. What he was aiming for. Of course, he was aiming for that they were having this coming together and being, social and not, they weren't aggressive. That was the whole point.
The only good bug is a dead bug.
A kid might have had tendonitis in one ear, but they would not have gotten that baby. I mean, he might not. Yeah.
Listen it! I got the one where my friend.
Yeah, okay, yeah. You stealing babies, that's okay.
You just stole babies.
Kill them all.
I could have written this episode about the aliens being them joining a cult. I had more fun with the drug addict one because I think that's almost more ubiquitous of what the story represents. Cult stealing a woman's baby to get her to come back to the cult, to get her attached to him or whatever. The other people being released from the cult at a certain point. That's the thing. Even if the people being released at the end from the aliens, you could say those are people coming out of rehab and they're the exact age they were when they started doing drugs, because you know how it is with alcoholics or whatever. Whenever you start doing a thing, you stop aging mentally.
Yeah. I get where you're coming from. That whole section was bad writing. Okay, that whole section of how he reacted and the total end response of him just leaving with the ship. Well, you got 3 or 4. How many kids did he have? He had like a gaggle of kids. You're just going to leave your gaggle of kids behind? I mean, or one kid even.
The only way his behavior makes sense is if he's addicted to heroin.
You on drugs?
Because you replace him making mashed potato towers for him going in the bathroom shooting up schmack and not being able to talk to his kids or getting weird and weepy, and his wife is trying to hide this thing from his kids. The whole story is better. And I know that's not what he wants, okay? You don't have to convince me that's not what Spielberg intended. Every story Spielberg makes is about his parents' divorce. He's so boring.
Your father was a computer scientist. Your mother was a musician. When the spaceship lands, how do they communicate?
That's a very good question. I like that. You've answered the question.
They make music on their computers, and they are able to speak to each other.
You see, I'd love to say, I intended that, and I realized that was my mother and father, but not until this moment.
It's so boring with Steven Spielberg. Everything, even Jaws, is about his parents' stupid divorce and being Jewish.
It could have been an absolutely amazing movie if they would have changed. If he would have changed a few things.
If they'd been Steve McQueen and not weaselly little Richard Dreyfuss,
that would have helped.
Richard Dreyfuss, who had no chemistry with either one of those actresses. Neither one of them liked kissing him, and you could tell.
Oh, yeah.
If you're trying to make it any kind of like where I'm supposed to root for him, I did not root for him. I was like, government, tase him.
Right away. No trial, no nothing.
His wife's character, just delete.
If he'd actually been a handsome, charming man, I would be okay with him crying on her lap.
I said they would have to totally change that character.
A whiny little weasel snatch who grosses me out. When he was expressing emotion, I was like, oh, sand.
I mean, that was the way she acted, too. They had, like, negative chemistry. They were like, you were mixing an acid and a base. They were not at all compatible.
Believable part of the entire story was her being repulsed by his losing. He lost his job.
Called you. And, well, Governor, they want you to call them right away. They said they couldn't reach you.
I turned the radio off.
Shouldn't do that. The phone's ringing off the hook. It woke Sylvia up 2 times already. I think you better call them.
Of course, it was one of those they should have been married in the first place kind of things.
As long as he was a hardworking man, it's fine. But again, if on my rewrite of the story being a drug addiction, makes perfect sense.
But does he make a good story at that point?
You either have one of two options. You have my version, which actually makes all the acting great and the writing subtly great and the casting great, or you have the actual story Spielberg was trying to tell, who he did a dog shit job telling it as far as,
well, as you said, it's
casting, writing.
The primary core of the story, and like we like to talk about the hero's journey thing.
It wasn't no
There was
hero's,
no hero's journey.
Hero deconstructionism. All of the major movie and television franchises of today have taken legacy character hero figures and done something to discredit them from being heroes for audiences to look up to, which, in a lot of ways, is to deregulate how people perceive heroes.
I know you're not sold on it yet, but I'm going to convince you. We're going to go through at least all of his Alien ones. We're going to go through all of Spielberg's Alien shit, because there is a thread.
Whimpering, crying children.
I haven't watched E.T. in 20 years. There's a thread.
It also involves everyone and their grandma hunting a group of kids down.
Okay, we'll get into that.
But if we watch them all, I can find the thread
Children in danger.
that's running through it, because there's a psyop.
To unconfirmed sources, Spielberg sent away Richards' caregiver to be alone with the girl. Source claimed that it all started one night when Spielberg went into Richards' hotel room under the pretext of going over some lines with her. He then sent the caregiver out of the room so that he could be alone with the young lady. The source claims that Spielberg then forced her into several compromising situations that affected her psyche.
Allegedly.
And with this disclosure day being shit, all my boys say it's shit. I'm sure it's shit. I don't really want to watch it. He just can't thread the needle anymore because he's 80. But he's still going to be beating a drum of what they want to do. There's no way he isn't CIA.
I'm not a plant of the Pentagon or the government or any deep state contracting company.
You sure about that?
Can you tell us a secret about Steven Spielberg? He eats babies. Whole babies.
They all get a talking to. Everybody gets
Him
talking
and Lucas
to.
being kissing cousins, being in the same bedroll, basically.
Even you look at a lot of the YouTube people, at a certain point they get so big, they get a talking to, and then the way how they talk and talk about things just totally changes.
Me that nice beaver. You know how to show it.
They only talk about really what's a disinformation.
Mr. Beast and his crew, they're all individual personal brands. Cool, but who are they managed by? Night Media. Okay, and who's Night Media owned by? Disney. So you basically have glorified Disney kids that have contracts that they have to say certain things, that they have to run certain agendas, and they don't really have a choice.
What's approved?
Yep.
The power of places like BlackRock, and this is what people need to understand. So when we look at ESG and DEI, BlackRock, because of their ownership of certain stock, right? They own 7 to 8% or so of the outstanding shares of the Walt Disney Company. Problem that's happened over time. This is where DEI and ESG has come in and polluted the waters. But if we as BlackRock are going around and saying, well, look, Disney, we got 8% of your stock or 5% of your stock or whatever the hell it is. We need you to come sit down with us. We want to talk to you about, some things that we think your company should be doing. Disney's going to have to listen to this. They're going to come in there and going to say, well, we want you to do this. We want you to have more diversity, equity, and inclusion in there. Their power comes in through their voting and their influence over the executive management and over the board itself.
They don't talk about real stuff.
If you can back figure what he's trying to pitch, what he's been paid to pitch.
They're schemers. Schemers trying to control their little worlds. I'm not a schemer. I try to show the schemers how pathetic their attempts to control things really are.
You can figure out the message they're trying to get across, that underlying current of what they're trying to shift people towards.
I can't speak for the entire audience, but there are certain things that unite us. And one of the things that unites us, one of the places we can find common ground, is our united belief that the extraordinary is possible and the impossible is possible. And I think UFO, the whole phenomenon, is something that everybody across any spectrum, culturally, politically, can agree on.
Her performance as Carol Ann in Poltergeist was hailed as one of the best child performances in the history of Hollywood. Her role in the movie came about by pure chance when Spielberg spotted her eating lunch with her mother at MGM Commissary.
The Red Shoe Club conspiracy theory involves an allegation that some Hollywood executives like wearing the shoes that are made from the skin of children. Back in December 2017, a number of questionable websites alleged that during a French radio interview, Macaulay Culkin said that Hollywood was controlled by, quote, satanic pedophiles who ritually murder children. He allegedly claimed that they make skin shoes from the sacrificed children, Culkin further described how one Hollywood executive boasted that his tailor-made leather shoes were made of the skin of dead child star Heather O'Rourke.
Allegedly.
I may end up running off with you myself, you know.
That's what Steven says.
It's Steven Spielberg?
Yeah.
I know we disagree on this. I think it's trying to coat interdimensional demons in the guise of being extraterrestrial aliens.
Not going to talk about Tom Hanks either, who is also a pedophile. Tom Hanks, folks, is a pedophile. I'm sorry if this is the kind of bursting your bubble, all this information is new, because at the top levels of wealth, of power, the very top levels, these people are just sick and psycho.
Allegedly.
Surrounding Tom Hanks and defend him of the things that a lot of people have linked his name to. I'm just saying that the more you ask questions and the more you look into this, the more concerning it becomes. This narrative against Tom Hanks, I mean, there is no evidence, there's no direct evidence that has been out there, but there is a lot of questionable behavior and a lot of concerns. But
revolting.
Actually, the part I liked was that they actually used what the majority of extraterrestrials look like, which is humanoid. A lot of this, especially the grays and things like that.
Call that humanoid.
Yeah, humanoid. Not human, but humanoid. Not that those can't exist, but that's not like what 90% of people, see.
Proper little people in costumes like they should be, we'll say, on the back end.
Now, the big long one, you could tell that was like a puppet.
That was a puppet. But that puppet inspired E.T., whatever. We'll get to that. Like I said, I haven't watched E.T. in like 2 decades. There's a thread running through it. It stole a baby.
Discussion details how an 11-year-old female character met with and fell in love with the titular character, Indiana Jones.
I was thinking that this old guy could have been his mentor. He could have known this little girl when she was just a kid, had an affair with her when she was 11. Lauren said, and he was 42.
I can tell you that the number one problem in Hollywood was and is and always will be pedophilia.
I'm not even going to talk about Spielberg, who, by the way, Steven Spielberg is a pedophile.
Allegedly.
Yep. See how easy that was, Corey? I didn't need $10 million.
Tom Hanks posted a bizarre photo right before Cappy's death. A glove on Route 66. Captained roadkill?
And the headlines were extremely puzzling. They said that he forced himself off a bridge and got hit by a car.
6 minutes before the reports came in about this tragedy, Cappy was seen on a dash cam of just an innocent person driving by who had a dash cam on their car, and this is at 7:20 a.m. Official reports coming in at 7:26 a.m., showing him just sitting there looking like a ghost statue on the side of this bridge with his back to the interstate and just looking very strange. He almost doesn't even seem like he's even alive at this point.
Allegedly.
It stole a bunch of different people.
Yeah, I'm not...
Bermuda Triangle pilots.
I am Claude Lacombe.
Frank Taylor, Lieutenant JG, United States Navy Reserve 064199.
Lieutenant, welcome home.
There was one chick in a Tudor-style dress.
The way they portrayed it isn't, exactly accurate or correct or the way it should be.
Those things were evil.
The devil? Everything is the devil to you, mama!
Although it looked amazing. Okay, that spaceship. The R2-D2 was stupid. But it looked amazing, but what it reminded me of was an Indian temple.
Yeah.
Bhagavad Gita stuff.
The Rig Veda.
Which I think that's what he's alluding to, is the idea that your gods, all the old gods, are aliens.
The ancient Sanskrit writings, especially the Puranas, which are the cosmological and historical writings, they speak of 400,000 human-like species scattered throughout the universe.
I think that's his push. It's all the same. I say, yeah, it is. It's all demons.
Why is this statue of Shiva at CERN? Why would a particle physics lab choose this ancient symbol? Shiva, in his Nataraja form, performs the cosmic dance of creation and destruction, and it perfectly embodies the dance of subatomic particles. This dance symbolizes the dynamic nature of the universe. This statue isn't just symbolic, it's a declaration that the quest to understand the universe is both a scientific journey and a spiritual one. CERN's founder, Fritjof Capra, wrote The Tao of Physics, linking Eastern mysticism with modern physics.
Tell me, what do you do with witches?
They've never lost the technology. But let's just say you had a contiguous 10,000 years of technology and you had never lost it.
One could come up with the hypothesis it was a lost civilization. They were advanced, Atlantis or Mu, for example.
Other civilizations had fallen, but you as an outside vampire civilization had kept all the technology and with your high IQ little minions had built on it individually. UFOs that go into the ocean are easy. You can't prove to me that all of those aren't earthbound things.
Not the only thing that fucking exists in the universe.
Oh, this is extra terrestrial.
Yeah, why was everything human?
Outer space
Why
alien.
is everything humans? Humans are not they're not the best thing in existence. Not everything stems from humanity.
We are the beloved creation of God. He made us in his image. Now, if aliens do exist, they can catch this catechism.
Elliot.
What?
Elliot. Elliot.
I taught him how to talk now. He can talk now.
Christ is Lord. Say Christ is Lord. Say it.
They can become Catholic too. It is the universal religion.
Yeah, they created
and
Jesus.
we will baptize the universe. I'm fine with that.
What if they created Jesus?
As long as they're not a hive mind, I don't think you can make the Borg Catholic.
I am the beginning, the end, the one who is many.
Because they don't share you have to have a individual will.
Let's get back to the movie. So, about the movie.
Off with his hands!
But you're trying to say, oh, it's aliens.
The movie didn't have anything to do with Christianity. Okay.
It doesn't, and it tries to tear it down. And I think that's part of Spielberg. Everything he does is in opposition to Christianity.
If you could make God bleed, people will cease to believe in him. And that brings us to the most logical target for number 3. Faith. Belief. Having faith. Believing in something. And the way that the media targets faith itself is not through plot summaries like most of the time. You're not going to find many movies where the story exists to discuss faith alone. It's much more subtle than that. It's in the quotes. It's in the dialogue. It's in throwaway one-liners, often commenting on how faith or belief in something is stupid. That only simpletons have faith.
They never showed Christians, but they also never showed a negative light of Christians.
The story they told wasn't a good one.
He's aiming for as a collective, and he likes the idea of extraterrestrials.
It wasn't peace-loving aliens.
Oh.
The first one I did was much more of the formulaic, monogram movie exploitation, but it was in an area of interest. Well, it's not really so much my interest in aliens; it's been my interest in the unknown. And the feeling I've had, for a very long time, having been a consumer of everything involving the unknown, not the unknown, a million light years from here, but the unknown right here.
Both existing, because there's millions of people who see it every year that they exist.
Yes.
And for what a lot of them say, they want us to basically be a part of the universe.
I didn't come all this way for you to tell me that that's what it is. Is there something under that? Because I don't believe that one.
Yeah, it comes back to that UN, give up your guns, let the alien overlords rule you.
They all have weapons.
Oh, that's the Project Bluebeam shit they're going to try to pull, where they try to psyop you into thinking
that's
the
a straw
aliens
man
invade
also. That's a straw man also. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that existing. So, some of the core message wasn't bad of what he was trying to do. The way how he did it wasn't necessarily great, like, stealing the kid and
I think that was truthful about what those evil alien baby stealers do. Those lizard child traffickers.
But the way how they showed them working with the government, things like that is real. Like they do work with the government
evil
to an
lizard
extent.
aliens work with the government, yeah.
And I spent over 10 years doing exactly that, figuring out how to get people like you to eat bugs. Across history, the first reaction to almost anything new is usually resistance.
What does steak taste like again? I had it once, but I can't remember.
Of the 3 F's to get someone to try something new. Make it familiar, get their friends to try it first, and address fears. All right, rule number 1, make it familiar.
When I asked for your help, I did not know you were so capable.
Yeah, you won the lottery.
Why couldn't you do that?
Not always negative. But they have worked with the government. They do work
Steal
with the
children. Yeah, I don't have any tolerance for this. Like tar and feather them. Like
the idea of working positively with the people in the government.
And the government working with the baby stealing aliens.
Completely peaceful aliens.
Baby stealers?
Okay, so that's the way they portray it in the movie. But what I'm saying is...
Okay, we're going to do Fire in the Sky in a bit, and that's based on a real story. And no, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, if you kept a dog like they kept that man, no food, no water for 4 days.
We'll talk about it, because
there's a demon.
Your rationalization is
Those
also
are
wrong,
demons.
so we'll get to it, though. There's a reason.
Oh,
there's a reason.
Keeping him. Okay, so
there's
if they're
usually
actual
a reason.
scientists are going to give the lab rat food and water.
It's not a lab rat.
Yeah.
It's not about that.
It is,
We'll
though.
get to that.
Not a caretakers. They're evil demons. But portraying them like the drug addiction, the obsession, his chasing up.
Maybe that was Spielberg at the time, too. Maybe Spielberg was, it's the 70s.
No, it's all about his parents.
California. I own the Milky Way restaurant with my dear husband. And I would like to have breakfast for all my children and grandchildren and my husband.
Have the name up?
Yes, I'm Steven Spielberg's mother also.
He marries into the Chabad lineage and becomes the leader. Now, the Rebbe's job was that of like a supreme rabbi. He kind of oversaw everything. But what made Schneerson different, which would go on to ultimately make Chabad different, is his emphasis on outreach. Yes, what makes Chabad so famous and makes Chabad so interesting is the fact that they engage in something called Karav Rechokim. Hebrew pronunciation isn't that good, please forgive me, but it literally means drawing those who are distant near or back.
And his parents, but it's a combination, he's a person.
No, he's like your whole thing with the true believer in the alien shit. Like, I think he is, to a degree, a true believer, or at least...
You're a believer. I don't know if I'm a believer in the sense that I'm kind of the person that would think, I got to see something like that to believe it. I can make up stuff and make movies about things that I've never seen or experienced, and that's fine. But in terms of really believing something, I think I'd have to have my own close encounter. Mm-hmm. So I've never seen a UFO. I wish I did.
Nothing that's unexplained.
I've never seen anything that I couldn't explain. And I went out there, and I parked my car, turned the lights out, and sat on the roof, and looked up at the sky, and said to myself, if something comes down here right now and lands on the road, and an opening appears, would I get on and take a ride? And I thought about it, and I looked up at the sky, and I got very, very nervous, because I realized that I wouldn't get on and take a ride. As a matter of fact, I was getting so nervous by embracing and romancing that thought that I got back in my car and I drove back to Los Angeles. I was terrified.
You know what hell really is, Thomas? It's not lakes of burning oil or chains of ice. It's being removed from God's sight, having his word taken from you. It's hard to believe. So hard.
Because that's a code name, Mega. Who the heck is Mega? What are they talking about? Why are they trying to use Mega to intercept, again, a communication between the White House and Yasser Arafat after a peace deal? Does that make any sense? Oh, yeah, it actually does make some sense, because those peace deal negotiations included a little bit of, come on, it's Israel, blackmail, obviously.
Every civilization finds it necessary to negotiate compromises with its own values.
Humans And how I love you talking monkeys for this. Know more about war and treachery of the spirit than any angel.
Literally accost people and are like, are you Jewish? Are you Jewish? And if you say yes, they'll take you to their mitzvah tank and try to get you to do a mitzvah, which is like a small religious act. This is because Schneerson and subsequently Chabad is obsessed with blood.
Because the only blood that matters to me is Jewish blood.
Either he's covering up hard, which is always a possibility.
From the government's point of view, we're still growing up, and eventually they might want to tell us something about what they've discovered over the decades.
I just wanted to know one thing. Where did the human skin story come from? There's plenty of different images of red shoes to look at, but no mention of what they're made of.
We inhabit a world of intersecting secrecies. We live and die at the places where those secrecies meet.
See, maybe he was working harder before they let him in on what the true long and short of everything is.
I'm collecting stupid little boys.
We're supposed to be righteous. That's a beautiful thing. That's Jewish. That's what I knew. That's what I was taught. And now I'm losing it. I lose that. That's everything. It's my soul.
That's why stuff like Disclosure Day he's mailing it in. He's just gotten worse and worse.
I have no idea. I haven't seen it.
I trust my reviewers.
Is it so important for you, Mr. Spielberg, for all the writers, directors, creators, actors, everyone, everywhere, all the time in Hollywood? Why is it their goal to make people question their faith?
Want to see my secret room?
Sure.
Right this way.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I think I should get going.
Already?
Yeah, right now.
Night, Isaac. Sleep tight.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Good night.
Oh my God, what do I do? Ah! I have a gun in my room. You give me 5 seconds, I'll get it. I'll come back down here. Boom! I'll blow their brains out.
Scott, you just don't get it, do you? You don't.
It's no hassle. But
Struggle against darkness. This struggle against darkness consumed me. It consumed me. Yeah, I'm a bad guy. I'm a bad guy. I let the darkness consume me. I'm not going to tell you what I did because at this point, it still could endanger people. And I don't want to do that. Can you help me? You can pray for my soul.
I shall count thee among my favored sheep, and you shall have the protection of all the angels in heaven. So we shall flow river forth to thee, and teeming with souls shall it ever be. In nomine Patri, et Filii, Spiritus Sancti.
It's all they make nowadays, so I'm not surprised.
What do you think? Do you like the idea of taking a movie out of context to make it a better movie like I did?
They'll hate you for it, but that's the point.
Should a movie be interpreted exactly how the director feels it should?
Ha! Gay!
Once you put it out in the world, it's mine to interpret however I want it.
Give a bad boy enough rope and he'll soon make a jackass of himself.
Oh my God!
Here, a boy seems to be reattaching the broken pecker of a statue to its original place, with an expression that has suggestive undertones.
The question is not how far. The question is, do you possess the Constitution, the depth of faith to go as far as is needed?
But tell us what you think. Do you think art should be interpreted exactly how the maker wants it to, or do we all get a chance to view it in our own light? Let us know.
America, built to last.
Yeah, that's right.
No, that's right. They'll be flying that flag all night.
Red, white, and blue.
Thank you for joining us here today. Oh, we really do appreciate your time. I'm Lorelei, and this is
Space Stevia.
And together we are Southern Fried Cinema Siblings. And remember, the most important story is the story you tell yourself, so
make it a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. You're still here, are you? Well, why don't you make yourself useful? Click the share button. Click the subscribe button. May as well go ahead and click for the next episode, too.